So lying on your back, that's how we're going to begin practice today. Take a few nice deep breaths in and out through your nose. Maybe even letting out some exhales through the mouth. Letting go of everything that came before now and getting grounded for your practice today. We have a few props. If you don't have props, you can do this entire practice without it. If you do, we have some blocks and a strap. So we're going to begin by hugging that right knee in towards your chest. Let the left leg go long. You might interlace your fingers just below the knee on your shin. Wind relieving pose. So with each exhale, practice hugging that knee a little tighter in towards your chest. Each inhale, feel the expansion of the belly toward the thigh. Do this a few times, breathing into that sensation. You might even take some circles with that knee, about the size of a dinner plate, maybe a couple clockwise, maybe a couple counterclockwise. And then if you do have a strap, you could also use a scarf or anything that you might have at home. You're going to place that on the arch of your right foot and let that right leg go up towards the sky. You might wrap the strap around your hand a few times so you can relax your arms, relax your shoulders, and just press your heel up towards the sky. You might keep a soft bend in the knee. Just breathe into the back of the right leg. Nice hamstring stretch here. Try to allow the hips to stay planted and level as you breathe into that sensation. Awesome. Taking your time to bend that knee and let that go, bringing the strap or whatever you might have as a prop to the side, and then hugging that left knee in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers just onto the shin. Same thing here. Each exhale, hug that knee a little closer into your chest. So we're stimulating digestive organs, but also opening up through the hips in our wind relieving pose. Each exhale, that knee hugs in a little tighter, and you might take some circles or even gently rock side to side with that knee. You might make circles about the size of a dinner plate, a couple clockwise, maybe a couple counterclockwise. Breathing into that, trying to keep the hips, the pelvis level and planted into the earth. Awesome. When you're ready, grabbing a hold of your strap or scarf if you have one, placing it on the arch of your left foot and extending that leg up towards the sky. You can also do this without a strap. You can just extend the leg toward the sky and have the hands interlaced behind the thigh. Whatever feels best. We're just getting a nice hamstring stretch. If you have a strap, pressing into that through the arch of your foot, you can soften the knee, but just breathe into that hamstring. Awesome. And then taking your time to bend that knee, set the strap or whatever you might have aside, and then hug both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. It might feel good to rock side to side. Take your time to roll over to one side and into a tabletop position. We're going to spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes, lift the hips up into downward facing dog. And then taking any movement that feels good in your first downward dog. Spread those fingers. You might bend the knees right and left. Think about really rooting into your finger pads, letting the heels draw towards the earth, sitting bones to the sky. Deep breath here. Heart draws towards your thighs. Beautiful. Taking your time from here, we're going to walk our feet towards our hands at the top of our mat into a forward fold. First forward fold of practice. So Take up as much space between your feet as you'd like. You can grab opposite elbows. You can sway side to side, bend the knees as much as you need. Just creating some traction through the spine. Let the head be heavy. Deep breath. Really good. And then rooting through your feet, we're going to take our time to roll up, ragdoll, one vertebrae at a time, up to Tadasana. Once you get there, it might feel good to roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Let the shoulders relax down by your ears. Take a nice deep breath in your Tadasana. Awesome. If you have blocks, I'm going to invite you to bring them to the top of your mat. Anything that you can use as blocks, if you don't have them, is great. Take an inhale, reach your arms out and up, and then exhale, swan dive down to a forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant the palms, and take a big step back with your right foot behind you. You want to make sure that left knee tracks over the left ankle. You're on the ball of the back foot, and hands can come onto those blocks, or if you don't have blocks or don't want to use them, you can have your hands on spider fingers. Lift your heart as you're in that lunge, but allow your hips to draw towards the ground. You might even lift your gaze, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to draw back into a pyramid pose, straightening both legs. You got it. Inhale, come forward into that lunge, lift your heart, lengthen, and exhale, straighten both legs, and you might bow forward in that pyramid. Beautiful. With your breath, the inhale takes you into the lunge. The exhale draws you back into a nice wide pyramid. So it's okay if that back heel stays lifted. Good. Inhale into your lunge. Exhale into your pyramid. I think we've got one more here. Inhale, lunge, lift your chest, lower those hips. Beautiful. And then exhale, pyramid pose. And from here, we're going to hold it for a few breaths. So feel free to shorten your stance, stepping that back foot forward a bit. And then think about leveling your hips. So scissoring, right hip back, left hip forward. And then you might fold forward, bringing your forehead towards your front shin, if that feels okay. If not, you can maintain more of an active straight spine. Either way, breathing into those hamstrings once again. Take a nice deep breath. Awesome. Make your way back into that lunge. Take a breath there. And then gently, we're going to step forward once again into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Reach your arms out and up. Circle the sun. Exhale, palms come through to heart center. Take a moment. Take a breath. Beautiful. On the other side, coming into it. Once again, inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive. Lead with your beautiful heart. Fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. Heart forward. Exhale, fold, big step back with the left foot this time into a lunge. Make sure right knee tracks over that right ankle and hands can come onto those blocks, or maybe they come onto spider fingers. The hips come low, but you lift through the chest, lengthen through the spine. Take a deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, straightening both legs, pyramid, you might fold forward a bit with the upper body. Continuing with the breath, inhale forward into that lunge. Exhale, pyramid. You got it. Inhale. Good. Bend the knee, lift the chest. Exhale, pyramid. Amazing. Inhale. Connect to your own breath, your own rhythm. Exhale, straightening both legs in that pyramid shape. Good. Inhale. One more time through that lunge. Lower those hips. Exhale into your pyramid. And then holding it here, you might shorten the stance. You can widen your feet. Make sure you have them square. Right hip back, left hip forward. And then as you bow forward, if that feels okay for the spine, you might even bring the blocks to a lower setting. Maybe the hands even come to the ground. You might maintain a soft bend in that front knee. Once again, breathe into those hamstrings. Take your time as you come back up with a flat back. Step back into that lunge. One more time, lift your heart. And then gently stepping once again forward into that forward fold. Left foot meets the right. Into that Uttanasana. If it feels good to bend the knees a little bit here, walk it out. Feel free to do that. And then once again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, root to rise, reach those arms out and up. Lengthen the spine, reach those arms overhead. Exhale, palms through heart center, Tadasana. Take a breath here. Really good. Always feeling free to use this time to grab a sip of water, do whatever you need to do. And then we're going to continue through the sequence. Back at the top of the mat in Tadasana, inhaling arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the palms. Big step back with that right foot once again. Left knee tracks over the left ankle, and inhale, reach the arms up overhead into a high crescent lunge. Good, lifting through that upper body on the inhale. And sinking into that lunge as you exhale. Take a few deep breaths there. Strong lunge. Good. Next, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, we're going to open up into warrior two. Good. So you'll have your left knee forward, right leg extended back behind you, shoulders on top of the hips. Flip that left palm to face up. And then as you exhale, drawing back into an exalted warrior. Deep bend in that knee, lift the heart towards the sky, find your own expression, connect to your breath. Next, inhale, come back up through warrior two. You might take a moment of breath, you might straighten that front leg, and then coming into extended side angle, that forearm comes to the thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Beautiful, feeling that nice long line from the outside of the foot all the way to the fingertips. Next, inhale, come back up through warrior two. And then straighten both legs, pivot the feet so that they're parallel to one another into a 5-pointed star. And then hands come to hips, lengthen through the spine. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold forward all the way down into a wide-legged forward fold. Beautiful. Rooting into the feet, you might walk the hands in line with the feet, softening the knees, but really rooting into the big toe mounds. You might also grab the outsides of your feet or your ankles, really activating the legs, but letting the head draw closer to the ground. Beautiful. One more deep breath here. Awesome. And then walk your hands forward. Walk your hands to either side of your left foot. Then lower that right knee down to the ground. Might walk the hands to the inside of that left foot. We're going to take this into lizard pose. So nice deep hip opening here. Maybe you stay up on your palms. You can always use your blocks here for support as well. Or you might come onto your forearms, rather on the blocks or on the ground. Take some deep breaths into that nice, juicy stretch. Breathe into that sensation. Amazing. Take your time to come back up onto your palms. Frame that front foot. Tuck that back foot. Tuck the toes. And then gently take your time to step forward once again into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to reverse swan dive, reaching arms out and up overhead. Exhale, palms through heart center, Tadasana. Take a moment, take a breath, shake it out, grab some water, whatever you need to do. I'm going to switch spots on my mat just so I'm not facing away from you, but you can stay right where you are. Find Tadasana, top of your mat. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, bow forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your palms, big step back with your left foot. You got it. Inhale from there. Exhale, sitting into that lunge. Beautiful. Lifting the heart as you inhale and exhaling, sitting deeper. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, open up into a warrior two. So you're going to pivot sideways. Good, right knee out in front, left foot behind you. Find the strength in that lunge, flip that right palm to face up, and then draw back into your expression of peaceful warrior. Legs are strong, lift your heart, drawing back, growing through the sides of your waist. One more breath. And then inhale through warrior two. Take a moment, find the depth of that lunge. Once again, right forearm to right thigh, left arm reaches up and over. Extended side angle. Really rooting through the outside of that left foot all the way through those fingertips, reaching to where the ceiling meets the wall. You got it. Breathe deeply. Open your heart. Draw that shoulder away from the ear. And then inhale back to warrior two. Straighten that leg. Pivot back into that five-pointed star. Beautiful. Hands can come to hips. Amazing. Exhale, fold forward towards that wide-legged forward fold. And you might turn your toes to face outward here. We're going to move into some side lunges. So on your exhale, you might bend your right knee, lengthen through the left leg, or vice versa, doesn't matter. And then switch sides, bending left knee and straightening the right leg. And back again, bending one knee, lengthening. Feel free to look up at me if you're not sure what I mean. Just having fun, rocking side to side and getting some opening through the hips in this side direction. Good. Exhale, drop the hips, straighten through that extended leg. Awesome. And then we'll find that wide-legged forward fold. Pivot so that you're facing that right leg once again in a lunge. Plant that back knee. And then this time, walking the hands to the inside of that right foot. Getting into that hip a little deeper into lizard. You might find that one side is a little bit tighter than the other. That's totally normal. Surprisingly, my right hip is tighter than my left. So I'm not all the way down on my forearms on this side like I was on the other side. Just find those deep breaths. Find the place where you feel sensation and breathe into it. Take your time to come back up onto your palms, tuck that back toe under in a lunge, and then gently step forward once again. Uttanasana, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold. Good, and then from there, we're gonna step back once again into downward dog. Yeah, walk it out, shake it out. Get the blood flowing. We're gonna have some fun here. So having fun, not taking it too seriously, continuing with those hip openings. So from your downward dog, I'm gonna invite you to lift that right leg up to the sky into a three-legged dog. And then bend that knee, allow that hip to open up to the right. And then we're gonna find some hip circles here. So about the size of a beach ball, circling that knee a couple times clockwise. So fun. A couple times counterclockwise. Ooh, feeling that in the hips opening as well as really working those muscles. Straighten that leg once again in that three-legged dog. We're gonna walk our hands towards our feet in a variation of standing splits. Having fun yet? Okay, and then from there, keep lifting that right leg, take a breath, and we're gonna see how it feels to stand up, swing that knee forward, if it has to drop to the ground, That's fine. And then we're gonna lift that right knee, hug it in, and bring the sole of that right foot to the inside of that standing leg, getting ready for tree. If you wobble or fall out, that's okay. Come right back in. Palms can stay together at heart center in your tree, or you can grow the branches, reach the arms up overhead. Your practice, have fun with it. If you're in your tree, standing tall, and then as you exhale, coming out the way you came in, whoo, shake it out, dance it out, walk it out. Amazing work. I love it. All right, we've got to do that on the other side, right? Can't be uneven. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your palms and stepping back into your downward dog. So good. Walk it out a little bit if you need to. Spread those fingers nice and wide. And then getting ready for three-legged dog on the other side. So from there, we root into that right foot, and then we lift the left leg up to the sky. Having fun with this, bending that knee, allowing that hip to open up to the left. Lift that knee high, and then if you're with me, moving through some hip circles. So circling that knee about the size of a beach ball, starting maybe counterclockwise this time for the left leg. Couple in that direction. And then switching it to counter or clockwise if you started counterclockwise. You got it. Taking those circles, amazing. When you're ready, you can let that leg go long once again in the three-legged dog. Have fun with that, keeping that leg extended, walking the hands towards the standing leg. If you wobble, fall out, that's okay. Come right back in. And then from there, staying rooted through that standing leg, we're gonna bring that left knee forward and then hug it in towards your chest. It's like a pendulum. Awesome. I'm a little wobbly here. That's okay. When you're ready, bringing that left foot to the inside of the right leg, anywhere above or below the knee, palms together at heart center. Take a few breaths. Find one point to gaze at to maintain your balance. Palms can stay together, or you can grow the branches of your tree. You can find your own expression. Take a few deep breaths, standing tall in your tree. Take your time to come out the way you came in. Take your time to shake it out when you're ready, both feet to the ground. Awesome. From here, bring your feet about mat width distance apart. Take an inhale, reach arms out and up. Exhale, we're gonna come into a squat. So you have the option of taking goddess, like I am here, or bringing the hips all the way down, feet point out into a full malasana, deep squat. You also have the option of sitting on a block or right on the ground, whatever serves you best here. Deep breath in your squat, neutralizing the spine. When you're ready to come out, moving to wherever the body wants to go. Maybe it's a downward dog, maybe it's a forward fold, maybe even a vinyasa if that's something that you're craving. Feel free once again to grab a sip of water, anything you might need. When you're ready, we're going to meet in a child's pose for about 5 or 6 long, smooth, deep breaths. Finding your child's pose. Finding your breath. Connecting to the earth beneath you. And coming back to your center. Finding some grounding. Before we continue with the floor series. No more standing from here. One more deep breath. Always knowing if you need some extra time in child's pose, you're welcome to stay here for as long as you'd like. Can be very grounding. Otherwise, like a traditional Hatha class that I teach in studio, we're gonna move through a little bit of core, a little bit of spine strengthening, and then wind it down. So if you're with me, we're gonna come onto our forearms, interlace the fingers in a forearm plank. You can do this from your knees, walking your knees behind your hips, or you can tuck your toes under and lift your hips, trying to create a nice flat back, hips in line with your shoulders. Maybe staying here is more than enough today, or maybe as you exhale, you might rock forward, bringing your nose past your knuckles. Exhale back. Inhaling nose past the knuckles, exhale back. Doing about 5 or 6 more of those rocks, forward and back. Strong core, belly is in. Beautiful, almost like you're trying to rip your mat in half, really rooting into those toes. Awesome. Next exhale, lower those knees. Great work. Maybe take a breath or two in child's pose. And then we'll come forward. Modified plank. Let the elbows hug the ribs as you lower all the way down onto your belly. Make a pillow with your forearms. Rest your forehead on the back of your hands. And we'll take a few breaths in front side Shavasana. Might even feel good to wiggle those hips a little bit, side to side, if that feels good for your low back. Letting those hips be heavy. Awesome. We're gonna come up and we're gonna move into fingertip cobra. Really nice for extension of the spine. I'm gonna invite you to bring your elbows in by your ribs and then bring yourself onto spider fingers off of your fingertips off your mat. Yeah. From there, elbows pointing up towards the sky. As you inhale, you're gonna lift your heart. Exhale, come back down. We're gonna do that a few more times. Inhale, spider fingers, cobra, lift your heart, and exhale back down. Find your rhythm. Inhale, pressing into those fingers and lifting your heart. Exhale down. Good. One more. Inhale, lift, and lengthen through the spine. Can you hold it for an extra beat? Amazing. Exhale, lower down. Once again, make a pillow with your forearms. Rest your forehead on the back of your hands or arms. And just take a few breaths here. Breathe into your back body. Next, from here, we're gonna move into locust. So if you're with me, you're gonna bring your hands behind your back and interlace your fingers. If that's not accessible for you, you can always just reach your arms back. And as you inhale, we're gonna lift everything up away from the ground. So lifting your legs, pointing your toes, lifting your arms so your knuckles draw towards the wall behind you, and then lifting your head. The gaze should be at the top of your mat. Every inhale, can you lift a little higher? Beautiful. And then as you exhale, we'll draw back down to the ground. We're gonna make a pillow with the forearms, and then this time place your right cheek down. Slide your left knee up by your left elbow into a half frog position. A really nice release for the low back. Deep breaths. We're gonna wind it down quite a bit from here. Amazing. Take your time to let that left leg go long. Turn your left cheek down, then slide your right knee up by your right elbow. Find those deep breaths. Breathing into your low back. Take your time to let both legs go long. Press yourself back up through tabletop, maybe another breath or two in child's pose, whatever your body might be craving. after that spine strengthening. So good. All right, from here you might want to grab your blocks once again, or whatever you might be using as blocks. Again, if you don't have them, you don't necessarily need them, but they're definitely helpful. You might also want, if your knees are sensitive, you might want a soft block or blanket to place underneath. We're going to start with the right knee. And then step that left foot forward in between the palms into a low lunge. Again, you want to make sure left knee is right over that left ankle, and that knee is behind the hips. Take a breath or two in that lunge with the hands on the blocks. Breathe into the hips once again. And on your next exhale, we're going to draw those hips back towards the back heel, moving into half splits, straightening that front leg, maybe flexing that front foot if that feels okay. You might even fold that upper body forward a little bit. Now you have the option to stay right here. Maybe this is more than enough. If you're wanting to take it deeper towards full splits, you might draw that back knee a little further back, that front foot a little further forward, and bringing those hips a little closer to the ground. The blocks are so handy here for support on either side of the front leg. And then breathe into that. Finding those deep breaths. Doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're feeling sensation and can still breathe, you're perfect. Whew. That can be a deep one. Coming out of that however you'd like, whether it's rolling to the side, moving back through tabletop, shake those legs out, whatever you need before switching sides. So if you have a soft block or something you're using as cushion, bring your left knee onto that, step the right foot forward. Or I think it's the other way around. Right knee onto, nope, left knee, right foot forward. The opposite of what you did last time. Hands are on blocks or spider fingers maybe. Take a breath in this low lunge. Let those hips sink forward. And then next exhale, draw those hips back. And you might begin to fold forward over that leg in front of you. So remember, you can bring those blocks to whatever setting serves you. Maybe you bring them higher, maybe you bring them lower. You can stay right as you are, or you might start to draw that left knee further back, right foot further forward as you move deeper towards full splits, if that's where you're going today. You might also think about kind of squaring those hips once again. Right hip draws back, left hip draws forward. Deep breaths into that sensation, super deep stretch. Maybe exhaling out the mouth. Amazing. And then we'll come out once again, however it feels best to get out of that. Take your time, shake those legs out, bring the props to the side. Amazing. So good. We're going to make our way towards the ground from here. So we're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana, so reclined butterfly. If you have blocks or a bolster, it can be really nice to place those underneath the knees. So I'm going to place them, bring the soles of the feet together, place those blocks right underneath my knees as I open my knees to the side. And then slowly come down all the way onto your back. Nice little supported hip opener. Let gravity do the work for you. And your palms might rest on your belly as you take some deep breaths in this place. Letting go. Each exhale, can you get a little heavier? From here, you can bring the knees together, hug the knees into your chest. We're going to get ready for a reclined twist. It might feel good to place a block in between your knees for support. Bring your arms out into a T shape and let both knees fall towards the left. And if it feels okay, drawing your chin to the right. Really let your body be heavy here. Really let the your full weight to be supported by the earth beneath you. Good. Next inhale, bringing those knees back through center. Gently switching sides, knees over to the right, chin to the left. Softening and just connecting to those deep belly breaths. And then on your next inhale, take your time to bring the knees back through center. You might bring the block out to the side if you had a block in between your knees. Go ahead and find any movement that the body's craving before we move into final relaxation. When you're ready, taking up as much space as you need to be comfortable in your Shavasana. Let your arms and legs go long. You might have your arms by your sides, palms face up. Or if it helps you stay grounded, you can also place your palms onto your belly and connect to your breath from the inside out. Feeling that expansion of the inhale and that release of the exhale. For the next minute or so, giving yourself permission to simply just be. Feel free to spend as much time as you'd like in Shavasana. If you're ready to slowly integrate back into your day, just taking gentle movement. Staying on your back, you might bend the knees, just bringing the feet to the ground, resting the knees in towards one another. And I just invite you to place your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top. Take a deep breath here. Perhaps just connecting. Is there something from your practice you want to bring with you into the rest of your day? Thank yourself for taking this time for you. Namaste.